My wife humiliated me at a party, mocking my dream, my business, and even my ability to
I
hammer
should
a
have
nail,
known
while
something
her
was
boss
wrong the
laughed
night
in
I
my
found my
face.
wife. Sarah, sitting in the kitchen at 2 a.m., she was clutching a half-empty wine glass and staring at her phone like it was a doorway to hell. At the time, all I saw was worry. Worry for my mother, for our finances, for a future that was slipping through our fingers. I didn't know then that the real danger wasn't cancer. It was the man who offered to save us. 3 months earlier, my world had fallen apart. My mom, the woman who raised me all on her own, was diagnosed with aggressive stage 3 pancreatic cancer. The treatment that could give her a fighting chance cost $47,000. My teacher's salary barely covered our mortgage. Sarah and I had $8,000 in savings. Hopeless doesn't even begin to describe it. Then, a couple of days later, Sarah came home glowing. "I found a solution," she said. "David, my boss, he wants to help us." Those words would become the beginning of our nightmare. David Chen arrived at our house that evening dressed like money itself. $1,000 suit, polished shoes, and a bottle of wine that cost more than our weekly groceries. He shook my hand with a confidence that felt like a warning. "Mike," he said smoothly, "everything Sarah's told me about your mother breaks my heart. I can help." He showed us a folder with official-looking loan documents and a $50,000 check. He called it a special employee family emergency program. I should have asked more questions. But desperation is blinding. And seeing my mother lying so frail in her hospital bed, it made me ignore every single red flag. We signed. As he was leaving, David put his hand on Sarah's shoulder. A touch that lingered way too long. "I know Sarah will show her appreciation," he said. I told myself I'd just imagined the way she swallowed hard at his words. The first loan check-in happened the next week. David arrived with expensive Italian takeout and a smile that made my blood boil. Sarah was dressed up like she was going on a date, hair curled, new dress, a perfume I'd never smelled before. While I was in the kitchen grading essays, I could hear their voices from the living room, low, intimate. "The key to long-term success," David was saying, "is knowing what sacrifices you're willing to make." "I'm a fast learner," Sarah replied. When I glanced in, I saw David's fingers brush the back of her neck. She didn't move away. Something inside me snapped, but I said nothing. Because Mom's treatment was working. Because I couldn't afford to make him angry. One Thursday night, I came home early to surprise Sarah with Thai food. David's Porsche was in the driveway. I froze outside the kitchen window when I heard her voice, trembling. "This isn't what we agreed to." David's tone was cold, stripped of all its charm. "Agreements evolve, sweetheart." "David, please, you knew this loan came with expectations," he said. My heart slammed against my ribs. "You're a married woman whose mother-in-law would be dead without my generosity. Don't forget who holds the cards." The food slipped from my hands and crashed to the ground. The next day I called my old college roommate, Carlos, who's now a paralegal. When I told him everything, he was furious. "Mike, if he forged bank documents or used his position to coerce Sarah, that's criminal fraud. He helped us prepare a plan. Sarah would record him." She was terrified, but she agreed. "Whatever it takes," she whispered. "I can't let him keep doing this." That Thursday, her phone was recording every word. I sat in a coffee shop, just watching the timer on my screen tick by. At 9:47 p.m., Sarah texted, "Got it. Come home." I sped back like my life depended on it. She was at the table, pale and shaking. "He didn't hold back," she said, and pressed play. David's voice filled our kitchen. "I've invested $50,000 in your gratitude. I expect a return on that investment. You'll come with me to Chicago next week. We'll share a suite." Sarah's voice was steady but trembling. "What if I refuse?" David's voice turned into a hiss. "Then your loan is due Monday. Your mother-in-law dies. You lose your home. And I end your career. Choose." When the recording ended, we just sat there in silence. Then I said, "We have him." Carlos took the recording and the forged documents straight to the FBI. Within hours, they confirmed everything. The loan program didn't exist. David had forged signatures and used bank letterhead illegally. He had created a fake lending scheme and had extorted multiple women before Sarah, the next day. As we held hands in an FBI conference room, David Chen was arrested. Fraud, extortion, Abuse of power. He never saw it coming. Sarah trembled when they told her she wasn't the only victim, that he chose us because we were vulnerable. The loan was declared void. Mom's treatment continued through legitimate programs. And slowly, painfully, Sarah and I began to heal. There were hard days and therapy sessions where Sarah broke down describing how trapped she felt. But she never hid from it. She never blamed me. She never stopped fighting for us. A year later, my mother's cancer went into full remission. We planted a garden in our backyard. New tomatoes, new soil, new life. One evening, Sarah leaned her head against mine. We're really going to be okay, aren't we? I looked at her, at the strength where fear used to be. Yeah, I said, we're going to be better than okay. As for David, he's in federal prison with 8 years left on his sentence. The man who tried to buy my wife ended up losing everything. And the family he tried to break? We rebuilt ourselves stronger than before. Thanks for watching.